All right. I think we're live.
We should be.
All right. Perfect. So, just for your information, I just had 4 Prime League games today, which went over 15 minutes, like one of them. So it was a crazy day, but I made it somehow to be on time here. And now we can have a look at that game from our Sanctuary League. Did you follow these teams?
I personally didn't follow any of the teams because I've been in here for not a lot of time.
Yeah.
So I do know one of the coaches, but for the rest, I don't really know any of the players in here. So I'm actually very curious to see how they will play today.
All right. So for me, it's I played versus SlimOdds, I think last week. So I have a few, opinions and informations about them. But with Extraordinary, didn't play and don't know a lot, but they will surprise us for sure. And as we see, the future matchup seems like it's bot lane versus top lane somehow, like Darius or Benorex on his more carry-orientated champions, with the jungle being a lot around him, and on the other side, the bot lane. What is your take on that? Do you prefer playing around top side or around bot lane?
Well, since I don't really know the players, I can't really voice my opinion too heavily on that side, just because it really depends on what kind of style and what kind of champions your top or bot lane plays.
Right.
Because if you're playing like this strong Caitlyn lane, which I'm very much expecting to see today, then playing around your bot lane can be very good. Because if you can get this Caitlyn ahead, she's a menace in the mid lane. She is really good at sieging, and her poke is pretty good because her range is greater than other ADCs, right? But on the other hand, if you have a good Juggernaut player on top side, and you can get him ahead, he will be a menace in side lane, he will be a menace in team fights, and he can really run over a team. So it really just depends on what we will be seeing today, and I'm very curious to see what happens.
Yes. Good points. I think also a big point is kind of how good you can punish the enemy lane. If you know that the enemy bot lane plays a lot of enchanters and smolders and stuff like that, you maybe can look for engaged supporters and punish that. And also on top lane, if you know he's just playing a tank, you can maybe lock in the Gwen or Fiora and just win over at that side. But it seems like we
Yes,
are already in draft.
yes, it does look like we are in draft. Swain being banned away early. I have seen some Swain from the match history from one of the mid laners, so it
Mhm.
explains a very annoying champion to deal with, especially when you normally run these melee kind of champions. Diana getting banned away as well. I think it's one of the more played characters by their jungler.
Yes. She got a nerf in the latest patch, that
Oh,
her
did
clear
she?
speed is reduced. So I'm not
Oh, yeah.
100% sure how strong that exactly would be. And we have the Caitlyn first pick,
Yeah, it seems
but
like they put a high prio on it. Really high
on
prio.
the other side than we expected probably. But maybe it's like also take it away from the enemies.
Yeah, take it away. Maybe their own ADC is comfortable on the Caitlyn, try and force out something that the other team is more uncomfortable on.
But I think if the Jinx is picked here, probably with
Yeah,
But it's
Jinx.
interesting, you bend the Lulu away if you are going to play something like Jinx. I think Lulu is one of the champions that goes really, really great with the Jinx.
Hmm.
So I'm excited. Maybe Milio still open, but of course you can also look like what my team is doing a lot is with the Ivan in the jungle. But it seems like we're going for the Jarvan here.
Yeah, Jinx Jarvan being very good at this front to back. Gonna be able
Yes.
to catch someone out. You see them. Jarvan doesn't really need to instantly hard engage. If his flag is not really in a good position, he can just wait with his drag. Jinx gonna be looking for these resets. Curious to see how they will react to this pick though.
But if I'm logging in Caitlyn here and see Jarvan, I'm not that scared because once you have the range as well, you have the E to get out of his ultimate. And now we have with Vi and Galio some tools to make the life of Jinx like really, really hard. You know, if the Vi just ults you, Galio on top, and Caitlyn with the range can be really fast over for you.
Yeah, Caitlyn with the easy point and click engage, Galio great follow up, really, really scary. If someone's caught in the Jarvan ulti, Galio can also just ult on them. It gives a lot of flexibility in how you want to play these team fights.
Vel'Koz, interesting. Is it mid lane? Do you think it's just like Vel'Koz mid lane? Because
It very well could be, because I have seen some Vel'Koz games in their match history, and Vel'Koz does pair fairly well with the Jarvan, because Jarvan locks them down, and Vel'Koz can go absolute ham with his abilities.
but also a good target for Vi and Galio, right?
Yes, that is also true. Although for the Galio, it might be harder to reach the Vel'Koz because Vel'Koz has this much range.
True.
But yeah, Vi could easily engage on Vel. But the one issue with that though is if Vi decides to commit her big cooldowns on Vel'Koz, how will Jinx be able to perform
Exactly.
in these team fights?
That's true. So Enchanter's band on the one side, Engaged band on the other side, and the Ambassador. So
Yeah,
expecting to see. Do you prefer top lane counter pick here then? Would you just pick the support here and
I
have
think
like a
you
strong
very
top
well
side?
could. Yeah. Because the thing with the support pick is you pick something like an enchanter, like the Nami in this situation. Because we already see the Caitlyn, we know that they're going to be playing somewhat aggressive, so we can play something that has more survivability, and we can
GP.
grant this counter pick to top lane.
GP is just another thing on your head when you get Vi ulted, Galio ulted, Gangplank ulted. Okay,
Yeah,
if I would be the Jinx here, I'd defeat the
is
game.
that a Galio support?
Yeah, seems like it.
It seems like I didn't expect that.
True. Interesting. Because now I think Nami Jinx should have the prio, right? Because a Galio can engage, but if he's not able to get the engage, you just outrange, out heal, like out sustain more.
Yeah, I think this bot lane will really be determined by who controls their bushes better. Because if the Galio can get control of the first bush in the lane, then he has a pretty big advantage. But as long as Nami can make sure that bush is warded, make sure that bush doesn't just get walked in, then they have the room to play with and they have the room to play the game.
True. Absolutely true. I think we have like, if we compare the two team comps, like on the right side, I think it's like one of the most basic League of Legends team comps, right? You have like tank top lane, mage mid, and then bruiser jungle and hyper carry with enchanter bot lane. It's like, the basic description of every role somehow.
A very, very simple front to back team comp.
Exactly. And then on the other side, it's like a bit more of a pick comp. I would frame it or name it. Or how would you describe the enemy team comp?
Yeah, this is a really good example of what a pick comp looks like. On the side of they have Vi, they have Ari, they have so they're very easy to engage and easy to land pick tools. And then they have good follow-up damage on those CCs, like the GP, like the Caitlyn, who can easily blow someone up once they're locked down.
Exactly. So I'm really interested how this is going to play out. Let me just look how they're standing at the moment. Because it seems like they're more middle of the pack. I think SlimOdds managed to get one win only. So it's actually really important to get back on the board for both teams to get the win here.
If you're looking at these team comps, which team comp would you prefer to play in? Would you prefer the front to back or to pick? What's more your style?
So if you would ask me before I see the draft as a whole, I would I really like playing the classic front to back hyper carry ADC and carrying the game after the point in the game, at 25 minutes. But I think in this game, I think Nami will have a really, really hard job to peel or keep Jinx alive. So I think there's not a lot that is going to make the life of Caitlyn like hard. I think the only thing that can really reach her is maybe like a Jarvan EQ ult, but then she just ease away.
Mm-hmm.
So I think from an AD carry perspective, I like the comp on the right better. But I think in this special how the draft went, I probably would prefer Caitlyn's
Position.
perspective,
Yeah.
or a position in the team, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I think it's harder to execute. If Vi goes in and she has not the follow-up yet, or if something happens, it's really, really hard to get back in the game or to fight for B5 or something like that. So they really need to be on the point to win.
Very true, very true. You know what I also see in this lane though? Like if we're looking at the bot lane right now, because we were talking about the
Mhm.
ADCs,
Mhm.
Nami has one of the most like squishy early games there is,
Mm,
and Caitlyn
exactly.
Galio can really abuse that. So
100%.
I'm very curious to see how they will play around it because, like I
Mm,
said earlier, they really need that bush control. If they don't have it, Nami's gonna end up like sushi.
yes, 100%. I think especially if they don't get the right words, or if they disrespect it even once. One step in the wrong direction could mean the end. And as soon as this Caitlyn, in my opinion, gets ahead and it's like, a level up, 2 kills maybe or something like that, it's really, really hard to play for Jinx in the lane. And then they would just, slowly lose the tower and stuff. So it's really important that Nami and Jinx are very careful at the early levels, not disrespect the engage potential. Um,
Hmm.
but I think if they play it right, it's a playable lane, right?
Yeah, it definitely is a playable lane as long as they respect that early game pressure as well.
Yeah.
Uh, we've
Just
talked a lot about
yeah,
the bot side, but what
yeah.
do you think
I
about the
think
top side with this Gangplank versus Ornn like matchup?
so. I don't have a lot of experience, I would say, in top lane matchups. So it's but from my understanding, I think it probably will be like a free lane for Gangplank. So he will just farm up, maybe harass the on, and at some point be like really, really strong. But
Yeah.
but if you know something, if you know more about that lane,
Well, so the thing is, in my mind, yes, Gangplank can harass Ornn a bit, but Gangplank's early game damage is not that great. So
true.
Ornn's most vulnerable state of the game kind of gets mitigated by Gangplank not being able to do much, and at a certain point, Ornn will just get really, really unkillable.
Mhm.
And another thing is, all Ornn like CC is knockups, so Gangplank
Mhm.
can't really W something.
True. As well with the Jarvan, right? If they get him in the bounce house, he can't do much with his W.
Exactly that.
True.
So I think it might be a bit favored towards the Ornn. I think it
Mhm.
is playable for Gangplank, but I think Ornn might take a lead here.
Mhm. I'm excited to see, because in my mind, it's Gangplank's just one of these champs who's like sitting there with his barrels and farming as much as he can, generating as much money as he can, and then just having these big crits in later team fights who can decide the fight. But we'll see if he's able to farm freely or if they are able to punish him.
Yeah, I think really if Gangplank can get these Silver Serpents in, get his gold in, then
Mm,
he is a real big threat for Jarvan, for Jinx, for
mm.
like anybody except Yorn, because he can
Yeah,
just also sit in a bush, wait, and probably just one shot someone with a barrel.
yeah, true. But so
Mm,
do you think that what do you think about side lanes in general? I think like the problem I see is that with Galio and Vi, you can't really push the side lanes even as Ornn or as Vel'Koz, because you always have this threat that Vi and Galio can just come to you, right? And Ari and Gangplank are much safer, I would say, in some way to push these side lanes.
definitely. Yeah, true. So what I'm thinking about the side lanes here is that SlimOdds. They have much more safety, and also at the same time they have much more pressure. So it's very hard for the Extraordinary to actually play these side lanes. Like the one thing they have though is Vel'Koz has such big range that SlimOdds has to commit something to even reach him. So they
Mm-hmm.
will have to commit either Vi ult or Ari ult, except when Extraordinary is not warding
Mm-hmm.
properly. Because if they're not warding properly, then yes, then you don't need to commit these big cooldowns, because
Mm-hmm.
then they just walk through Fog of War,
Mm-hmm.
collapse. So
Mm-hmm.
it's vision control. I think it's vision control is going to be really important if they plan to side lane, if they plan to catch these waves.
Yes, 100%. It's just
Uh,
like every time I see like an immobile AP mid laner, like Vel'Koz, or I don't know, there are a few who have this problem that after bot lane swaps into mid lane and they have to go into the side lane, that it's really hard to play. That you need to drop a lot of waves and need a lot of attention from your own jungler that you can't get run down on the side lane.
yeah,
So that's
true.
like one
Very
thing.
true.
Because Ari can push like almost to the tower anyways, because she has like with her ult is super safe, especially versus like Jarvan. She can always get out somehow, and Vegas has a harder time. So maybe they will need to be careful of that. But we will see, because it sounds like we are going into the game,
We are
and then
indeed.
everything goes from what could be to what is, and we will see how this plays out. So as we see, SlimOdds one game, which they could win. They did have won a game against us. Probably is, right? Not
Yeah,
100% sure.
they've only won one. They've only played four. So it's kind of it
Okay.
happens. It happens.
It's just,
It will be a best of two today as well, right?
yes,
Okay.
2 games. And just decides to swap after the first game.
hmm So standard 5 point coming out from both teams. Didn't really expect much else because I don't really think they have great invade potential. They will be looking for the standard Raptor ward.
Just
Hmm.
a bit scared.
They are a bit scared, but I understand why they are, because Jarvan still has this good early game damage with his passive, and Vel'Koz, they didn't really have vision of Vel'Koz, I believe. So the Q coming from any side can just be very annoying. You don't want that level
Yes,
1.
true. So how's the early push going? I think like bot lane is probably having the push in the early levels.
Yeah,
Um,
Caitlyn Galio will like most likely be shoving early. They have better damage on the wave. Galio has his AoE passive, which in mid lane at least automatically shoves.
Mm.
Um, I don't really know how it works on the support side. Then if we're looking at top, I think Gangplank should be shoving in very soon when he unlocks his barrels. And mid can actually go very even. It depends on how many points Vel'Koz decides to put in his W.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Do you expect like?
Any
Oh, sorry.
any things you expect to happen early in? Like who do you
Yeah,
think might play some aggressive and get the first blood? Or
so the same question was on my mind for you at this point. Okay, so I think if you look at the team comms, I think as soon as Vi and Harry hit 6, they should be doing a lot of stuff. But before that, I think it's still pretty hard to just guarantee a kill or something. So it's probably just full clear into full clear, just taking the grabs. And then maybe at the first grabs, we will probably get maybe a fight. Um, I'm not sure if they will swap top lane, not top lane, bot lane to top lane or to mid lane to get a bit of the edge there. But before anything spawns, I don't think that there will be like a lot of fighting.
yeah, makes sense. And like we were talking about earlier, they're really playing around the vision control on these like bushes, so the Galio can't really chase someone. He needs to stand in vision. So I don't really think anything will happen on bot lane. So yeah, it's either gonna be level 6 on mid lane with like Vi Ari who look for a pick on this immobile champion, or something might happen on the grubs.
Yes.
Just
Maybe
like you
just
said.
each jump, just pathing top, Vi pathing bot. So they won't even see each other at the crabs. Just do the opposite. Oh, Jinx is in the trap. Not Jinx. Jinx got her in the trap. I think Kate just dead.
Okay, no.
Good flash. Let's see. Oh no! Caitlyn manages to kill her there. Okay, that's something that shouldn't happen.
That was very, very close, actually. I think it's a mostly ignite advantage there, no?
And she's also dead. Oh no.
Good flash follow-up from the Vi. Like, that guaranteed
Beautiful
that
play.
kill. They're
No,
looking
and
to
see if
grab
top lane
something.
can make it the same. One gets a knock up again. Do they have the damage?
Yep.
They both flashed. Nice one. Good kills. Okay, never mind. Everything I said was just wrong. They flew you once, and they just killed on the side. That's so crazy. I think that should never happen to you. If you know that the enemy jungler is pathing to your side, you need to respect that. And they both don't do it, and both lanes die. That's crazy.
Yeah, what I'm like the thing that happened there was very, very close with this Caitlyn against the Jinx. It's just Caitlyn had the advantage that Galio had ignite and reduced a lot of healing from the Nami, so I really think that came in clutch.
For sure.
And Galio being able to follow up that like quickly on the Vi Q flash just made them able to get that kill on Nami as well.
That's exactly the point, As we said at the start, you need to keep your range from that Galio, and if you're flashing, to get a kill, and you are inside of the Galio, you just get CC'd a lot. And I'm not 100% sure how much HP she had, the Caitlyn, but it was like really, really close. And I think if she gets the kill there, right, and she gets the reset, and she gets excited with her passive, I think she actually gets the double kill there.
Yeah, it was really, really close and felt really out of comfort. Oh,
Barry's solo killed. Oh, that was close. Ari TP spot. And they get the first rig. Kali moving in. Ari ulting. Very costly ult.
Ari Charm really saving from that life disintegration ray.
Yes.
Like, Galio was very, very almost dead. Spirit Rush being used, Charm connecting onto Vel'Koz, Vel'Koz being chunked
Really
out.
good. Really well played. And now they get probably the grubs as well, right?
With how the lanes are looking, they very well could be. The only thing that we have to keep in mind is that Ornn is right now looking for a base.
It is trading a lot.
Galio gonna come back with a lot of HP, so they can actually look for these kind of plays.
That's something I would really love if the guy would move to the grubs here, because I don't think that they can dive. And now it's in theory would be a window where they could fight 3v3, but
I don't
seems
really
like
think
they
he
get it
had
anyways.
to.
Yeah,
He didn't
In
have to because
hindsight.
Ornn took a base, and
Okay.
Ornn taking that base and using TP for that, he couldn't really move. Furthermore, Karl's Forge God and Life Disintegration Ray both being down, I don't think they really can contest those grubs early on like this.
True. But would have preferred if they would just take the grubs and not fight the Drake on the side of Extraordinary?
Extraordinary. They trade objectives, you mean, right?
Yeah, I would have preferred if they just go for grubs or for Drake, depending on what the device, prefer.
So the thing is, you're playing against Caitlyn. You really, really, really want these early grubs because Caitlyn with grubs is going to be really, really strong. So I think personally they shouldn't have fought for Drake and just instantly went for grubs.
Right? Because I think if Extraordinary manages to get the grubs, I think they're really happy, no?
Yeah, it's a free objective they can get.
Yeah.
Plus, every grub you can take away from Caitlyn is very huge because Caitlyn really wants to play for these grubs. She has a big range advantage, and she can just easily siege every time with these grubs, and these turrets will be like melting. Ornn having a fun time in this top lane.
Actually, not what I was expecting, but you were right. You said it at the beginning. So, do you think they would be able to take the Grugs themselves, like SlimOdds? Do you think they would have been able to do it? Or do you
Yeah,
think
if
they needed to play around bot lane because that's their strong side at the moment, right?
from the side of like Extraordinary, GP had to base. Ornn had a shoving wave, so instead of looking at the enemy taking Drake and taking a bad fight, they could have just gone grubs, taken grubs, and chilled. But now they flipped a fight, which I don't really think. Oh, good bubble from Nami. Follow up and coming in
Beautiful.
from Jinx.
But Jinx just can't hit at all. Hitting the lane gang on the Vi. She's probably just dead, right?
Very much.
Onward as well.
Yeah, Season Assist being really, really strong in that sense because if you just point and click on the Jinx, she really cannot do anything about it.
No, they're even pushing Nami away.
Garden not really finding a flag and drag angle. He does have Cataclysm up, but I don't really think they can make a play here though.
I think it's just Caitlyn perma pushing. If you look at the CS, it's just crazy, you know. She has like almost double the CS, and that's exactly what I was talking about. It's just really, really hard to play this lane now, because actually you can't step up, right?
No. Caitlyn has range advantage, damage advantage. In this situation, she has the better support for the early game. Like we have engage versus sustain, and engage just beats that most of the time. So yeah, this bot lane just got a really, really rough draft on the side of Extraordinary.
True. Caitlyn finishes her first item, so she will be really, really strong.
Why going for the Triforce here? What do we think about that?
What is the other opportunity? Like not opportunity, but what would you buy instead of that? Do you have like? So you would go more like the thin team, or what's
No,
like?
I think that Triforce is the right call here. It's either Triforce or Sunset Sky, in my opinion. And I think the Triforce actually makes a lot of sense, especially with the state of the game right now.
Maybe I was watching too much Baus, because he's always playing these lethality builds. It's just like absolutely crazy how much damage they do, but probably not if you're the engaged. The only engaged, especially.
Yeah, it's not only that she's the only engaged, it's also that this Vi is like one of their only frontliners.
Yeah, exactly.
So Vi needs to be a little bit more tanky.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they just get blown up and run over by the Jinx.
Exactly. True. And she also finishes. They have like big power spikes now. But this time they trade, right? This time, no fight around it.
Yeah, it looks like they're just trading. Yeah, it looks like they're trading objectives. This is how they should have actually also played the first set of objectives, in my opinion, at least.
100%.
It does look like Ari is building the Ludens to how's it called? Ludens something.
Echo?
Forgot the
probably
name.
not. Was it?
Forgot the name of the item.
No.
Oh, Caitlyn doing a lot of damage on this Nami.
Galio's ulting. Shit. Yeah.
Fallbreaker coming in, connecting with Nami.
The damage is crazy. You can't do anything. Holy shit.
In that situation, you're just dead. Like Season Assist coming into the Jinx, Vaultbreaker landing onto Nami, Caitlyn with her ulti just coming in and finishing the job.
100%. There's like not a lot of counterplay to it, right? It's just at this moment of the game when both have their items, just the amount of damage they have in these mid-game skirmishes and fights and dives, it's absolutely crazy. And now we see their first tower at 12 minutes. And they probably will be able to get a few plates on another lane. Maybe they will swap top or mid. What would you prefer? Where would you send your bot lane now?
Personally, I would send my bot lane to the top lane right here, just because this VP has a really, really rough matchup, so that we can get this VP on a side lane where he can farm a little bit more easily without too much trouble. And Ornn can't really walk up too much. Yes, he's tanky, but he's not gonna live a Caitlyn that's like has a Galio supporting her constantly. But they will do the standard play with sending mid lane bot or the mid lane or bot and bot lane mid.
I think it's like my problem with that swap is that Vel'Koz can probably 2v1 clear the waves. Like, I'm not
It really
100% sure.
depends. It really depends
Yes.
on how much points he has put into his
Okay.
W.
W. Yeah. Just yeah. I remember you said that. But you know, in my mind, it's like Bond's just like so much weaker in wave clearing, right? If going versus this Caitlyn, so I think she could like really pressure there.
It's much easier to siege the top turret in this situation and siege the mid lane turret.
I mean, giving away like 2 or 3 plates here.
He kind of has to. He's not in a good position.
Yeah,
He needs
100%.
to. It's
But I think,
it's a rough lane for the pirates.
but I think if like, just put your top lane there, like your bot lane top lane there, and then you are the one who's getting the plates, right? And nothing's up. You know, if Drake would be up or anything, then I would say, okay, 100% put your bot lane in the mid lane, you know, to have the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not getting anything here in the mid lane, right?
No, you're not getting much. Just that right now you are, because they switched the Velcos to bot
Yep.
lane and they own
True.
mid, like bots to mid.
Velcos gets it
Velcos
tilted.
getting.
Yup, he's just
he's
dead. Nothing he can do. It's just dead.
This is the strong
press
combo
ult.
we talked about earlier with the Season Desist, with the Spirit Rush, immobile mid laner who doesn't have a turret.
Caitlyn's getting ulted from. Oh, beautiful flash. But she's dead,
Caitlyn's
right?
coming out,
Yes.
Caitlyn
And now
dies.
Jinx is excited. But Vi is
Not
on the way.
excited enough.
Not excited enough.
Flag and drag
Okay.
to safety. This is
That's a
also
big
a thing,
shot.
right? Vi has a 2-level advantage right now on the Jarvan, so he really cannot take any of these fights. Jinx picking up some gold, still being down 1.5k gold, really doesn't help out too much.
But if that happens more often, you know,
yeah,
could get scary.
definitely.
And one thing I want to say is like you should not, if your jungler and your mid laner are getting a catch on the side, you don't need to flash forwards as the ADC on the mid lane, right? It's just you just wait for Vi to come back into the mid lane and then make a 3v3 play.
Yeah, we make a play on bot, then they likely make a play on your top or mid, and their only option was mid lane.
Exactly. So just hold your feet still. Something I do as well. Just run it down like that. If my team makes a good play on the other side of the map, and I'm like, I could go in here, and then just the enemy jungler's there, and I just die. So it's something they should be careful of. That it doesn't happen a lot, because if Jinx, you know, gets here back into the game, it could be a win condition for them as well, for sure.
Yeah, right now their win condition will be like Jinx getting these resets in team fights, Falcos being able to shred through a lot of these people, but then again, they have a lot of answers into that with Season Desist, with Spirit Rush, Vault Breaker even from Vine, like her normal Q.
Oh,
It's just,
Caitlyn just face checks it. She's just dead, right? She's just perma in the sky. All these knockoffs is just crazy. You can't really do much against it once you're hit by one.
Exploring the jungle like we're back into the, what is it, 1500s?
Yeah.
Columbus Gaming.
But it's also something you shouldn't do. Your Galio's standing right next to you. Just let him face check. You don't have to face check as ADC ever. And if you have to, it's not a lot of times you manage to get alive out of this situation.
Yeah, I don't really think that Caitlyn can just face check a bush. Even if she was more fed, she just dies there. Flag and drag, bubble from Nami, wave from Nami, you're dead.
Percent.
What do we think about the Ari item? I personally I like it a lot because the way they want to play here, I think it synergizes a lot with her. Yeah. They look for a catch, bursts, and then happy. Ooh,
yes.
Desist.
But it's just getting another free kill.
Yeah, Season's Desist connecting onto Falcos, just instant death. Flag and drag doesn't really matter anymore because 2-level deficit.
Yeah, it's something they really should be more careful about. Where the Vi is, you know, get the wards down, check where she is, because she's like doing so much, like 7 kills. Participate, right?
It's really hard to get these wards in correctly right now because they really don't have the space to play around. They're down 2 tier 1 turrets. Gangplank is right now pressuring this bot lane. They have to do something at least, because otherwise he's just going to get a tier 2 turret. And once he has that, then the map is just broken open way too much. It's a bit risky. I mean, they don't have vision on it, so I understand the reason why Gangplank wants to invade here. Can be still a bit risky. What soul is it? It's Hextech. Okay, didn't notice before. My bad. Do you think that the soul this game will have any impact on how it will be like going, like how it will run out? Did your mic cut away? It's fine. Fight getting called out here. Oh, wave coming out. Light disintegration ray barely didn't kill her. Vi actually managing to get out with her flash here. Galio trying to protect his team. Doesn't really look like they can accomplish anything right now. Gangplank with a good flank though. Nami should be dead here. Playing out slowly. Galio looking for engage. Good double taunt. Don't think they can do much right now to salvage this play. I got a message. We're having some internet issues from the side of Butner. That explains. It's fine. If we're looking at the map right now, I don't think they're in a position, either team, to take this Atacon. They could be looking for it with the way they're positioning, but I don't think they have enough vision control for it. So it might be a big fight around it, and it could be very dangerous in the sense that it could be very dangerous in the sense that they can throw a fight or like one unlucky engage, and they just get blown up. Getting so many messages. He's still having internet issues. It's fine. So we're looking at, right now what we're looking at is they are trying to get some vision control around this Atacon. I don't think they will necessarily looking to get it. Or Call of the Forge got coming out from Ornn. Ornn being a level down, I don't think he can win this. Gangplank actually having pretty good barrel control. A lot of these true damage burns. Good flash from Gangplank. Gangplank actually finishing off this Ornn. They could very well be looking for a play on Atacon right now since the Gangplank has his TP up. He doesn't quite have his ult yet, so he couldn't use that. Super Mega Death Rocket actually missing by a hair on this Gangplank. Very close. I don't think it would have killed personally, but I do understand the play. Siege going on in the mid lane. Good Caitlyn trap usage, really zoning them off from this tower. Actually getting some good poke into this tower. This tower's going actually pretty low.
I will join you till Butner's ready again.
Okay, sounds good. I'm trying.
Let's run.
Yeah, appreciate it. Okay, we get a pause. Nice.
Pause.
We get a pause. Yeah, this game is looking like really, really rough for the side of Extraordinary here. You're down 8k. If we look at the champion gold, like on every position, you're basically behind. Which just makes it really hard to play.
It's a really rough game to play out, especially also because the way it's been drafted. I really do like the way that SlimOdds have drafted this game, because the way they drafted is just they can shut down the win condition of Extraordinary Gaming in a lot of ways. And this Vi being this far ahead, just click on Season the Fifth on Jinx, and she likely dies.
Yeah, that might be a problem. Both Vel'Koz and Jinx not the most mobile carries against Vi, Ahri, Galio. I mean, Vi ults and Galio ults on top of her. GP to have some, like, to give some kind of hope to the legions of Extraordinary. The ornaments will come in pretty soon, right? So that's like 1,000 gold for each player in stat value.
It
which
is,
would
but even if
close
we
the gold lead a bit.
a bit, but it doesn't close it completely. That's the thing I'm scared about.
But I'm trying to find something positive here. We're having a small spectator bug that
Small.
happens every time after a pause.
Yeah, I forgot. I thought you had lagging PC here.
No.
They might be looking to fight over Atekan here now that they have this big of a gold lead. Jarvan being called out by Vi. Season is not quite coming out yet. Caitlyn is very far backwards. I don't think they can take this fight yet. They have to wait for Caitlyn. Like, yes, she has 8 in the hole, but I don't think that's enough.
Yeah, and I don't really think that contesting this is the best opportunity. Of course, if you manage to get a catch,
A lot of Portugal coming on Caitlyn, flag and drag. Caitlyn getting exceptionally low, but doesn't quite get down. Yeah, Jarvan being picked off here, and now the team slowly crumbles. Life Disintegration Ray trying to get something out of it still, but doesn't quite hit. Spirit Rush finding this pick onto Vel'Koz, and now they can actually look for the Atekan or the Drake, depending on what they want.
Hello. I might be back. If you can
I
hear
don't
me.
think they can do Atekan.
okay,
Yeah, we
if
can.
Bittner is back, then I will chime out again. But in
Let's
case
see how long.
this happens
Yeah.
again, I'll come back and help out.
Thank you a lot. You
So another Drake going to the side of SlimOdds. They're looking to siege this bot lane turret a bit with the Ari, maybe trying opening the map a bit more. And as soon as this mid lane or bot lane turret falls, the blue side jungle is not really Extraordinaries' property anymore.
That's true. Linus, I would need to see this game again. I restarted everything.
Oh, that's good. Had some slight internet issues, you said, right?
Yes, exactly. So I don't know why this is happening. Just spikes up to like 5,000 ping. But I can still hear you perfectly fine and everything. It's just my ping just goes crazy. I don't know why.
It happens sometimes.
I'm really sorry.
What do you think will happen now? What will teams be looking for? Like with this big of a gold lead, how will SlimOdds play it out, and how will Extraordinary Gaming try to counteract it?
We are 1 minute away, not even 1 minute away from Nash, right?
Mm-hmm.
So probably they would just be setting up. Atakan wasn't taken, or is it?
Atakan was not taking it. Atakan
was
is
not
still
taking
up.
it. Okay. So probably that could be. What? It's the Atakan who gives you the revive, right?
I don't know if it's Ruinous or Voracious Atakan. I haven't seen it yet.
If it's the one who's giving you the revive, I think it's perfect to have before setting up for the Nash, because most of the times it guarantees you the Nash, right? Because even if you have like a bad fight and 2 or 3 people from you die and 2 people from them die, you just respawn and can just take the Nash, right?
They have nerfed it. That's the issue.
That's
It's no
true.
longer a 5-second revive. You now take 15 seconds.
That's true.
But that's Nami getting
just-
called out. Actually, that will allow SlimOdds to look for a objective if they really want to, because now it's really hard for Extraordinary Gaming to get this vision control in.
100%. And it seems like they decided to take the Atakan, right?
Yes, they will decide to take Atakan here. I would like to go for the camera to go over there. And
This is
it
the one with
is
the revive, right?
Voracious Atakan, so that means it is the one that resurrects you.
Just a perfect opportunity to take some stupid fights, in my opinion. You know, you can just take dives, you can play for Nash, even if it's not the perfect fight. And it's really, really good, in my opinion. And as well, one thing that's really, really broken is when the enemy plays Jinx and it's just not getting any resets, right? So
Does
even
you
if
get
you
a reset from it?
No, you don't get. So it's like you make a perfect team fight, but Jinx just isn't getting excited at all because she's not getting any kills. You know? So
sad Jinx.
Yeah, so it's actually really, really hard counter to Jinx in kind of, probably every champion who needs these resets, right?
Yeah, that's. I didn't know that it interacted in it that way. That's actually really, really, really bad for Jinx, because now she doesn't have an opportunity to get a reset.
Exactly.
And that's their entire fight plan. So I
Exactly.
don't think they can contest this Baron then even.
I mean, they can try, but it's looking dire.
With how they're down 11k gold.
Yeah.
Ornn has 1 upgrade, so let's subtract that 1k from it. They're down 10k gold still.
But they're trying. But on misses
I can
this ult,
reconnecting
but you get
Cataclysm onto Vi, I think it is, getting a good wave, but it doesn't
it's
really
getting
matter
on
anymore
Nami.
when this. Yeah, when the gold lead is this big, it doesn't really matter anymore.
It's just
Spirit
briefcase
coming
wave.
out. Ornn gonna die. If Ornn
Oh,
dies here, she
beautiful
gets a
charm.
reset.
So she's
Ace in the hole onto Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz dead.
so
Reset
she's
on
full
the Spirit.
full on ace,
Push.
right?
Yeah, this
Jinx?
is full on ace,
Jinx?
but I think they end.
I mean, if Jinx would get resets here, she probably would carry that fight, right?
True, but that's a thing. That's an if scenario.
Yeah,
Because
true.
we can also ask would SlimOdds have taken that fight knowing that?
Also true. Also true. But really good fight. That's exactly what I mean, you know? You take a fight where 2 or 3 people die from you, but it just doesn't matter, right? You get the push and you get the Nash. Perfectly played and executed. Because it just doesn't matter, right? If the enemies get like 2 or 3 kills, you know, which are not really kills.
Waves being in really good positions also for this Nash, they could easily instantly rotate up to the top lane if they already spent their gold. Doesn't look like they really want to though.
Seems like they want to play for Sword, right? Seems like in 9 seconds.
They very well, yeah, I think they are. I think personally, Ari could have gone top because Ari already had a base when
True.
she died. So she could have gone top. She has TP. She could TP down for the soul and get pressure on this top tier 2.
In my opinion, you shouldn't really force this Drake.
Season
okay,
is disconnecting onto Nami. Nami really gonna
and it's
go
just over,
down.
right? Okay, so
Life disintegration Ray finding a really
no,
good connection to 5.
no, she flashes and doesn't get the kill. Okay, now they can just finish, right?
Yeah, Turbo's gonna take this Vel'Koz very soon, unless nope, Ace on the hole taking a good chunk out of it, doesn't really matter anymore.
Perfect. What I was wanting to say is just if you get the Nash here, and you know Ari already reset it and everything, just push top, push mid, push bot, and then if Nash runs out, then you can maybe go for the Drake, right? And if they go for Drake, you can just finish.
That's also very, very true.
You don't have everyone, but of course, if the enemy runs into you, you're so much ahead, and you can just get a free fight. You can just as well take that, right? I think if you're that ahead, there are so many plays that are working, you know, because it's really hard to do some plays that are like wrong because you just
you're this far ahead.
Yeah.
SlimOdds looking for some pressure on this bot here. Nah, never mind. They're just basing. They're taking their time. They're playing it slow. They really don't want to make any mistakes. They're just ahead of so much gold. I don't really think that Extraordinary Gaming can properly play this game right now.
If I'm seeing it right, like we're almost at 20k gold lead, right?
We're very, very close to a 20k gold lead.
And that's actually crazy.
You know what we're also very close to? What's gonna happen right now? Vi has a Flame Horizon over Jarvan.
That's also crazy. I mean, she has like the most fun in the game, right? Okay, now Caitlyn surpassed her.
Caitlyn has a small amount more.
But that's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, they're just taking this tier 2, getting pressure, breaking open the map completely, not letting Extraordinary Gaming actually play the game. Extraordinary.
The guy is a bit far.
He's very tanky. As long as he doesn't give the reset, which he does.
She gets a reset.
It's very scary now.
Caitlyn's managed to survive. Oh, she died now. But Jinx still alive. Jinx is still alive. Benarix just one-shotting everyone.
But the soul just slows down so much. And it does much damage.
100%. I think this fight was the perfect example. If the game's a bit more even, I think they can clean up there, right?
Yeah, we saw what Jinx could do on a 20k. We saw what Jinx can do on a 20k gold deficit.
Exactly.
And that's the scary part about that champion.
100%. But I mean, you managed to kill the Caitlyn, and then you still have like 3 hyper carries in the enemy team, you know, with like Ari, Vi, and GP making like so much damage.
Yeah, GP just doing this much like burst damage, and then the other 2 really making sure that people cannot leave his barrels is just a really good trio. And Jinx got slowed down so much by this Hextech swap.
Yes,
she just couldn't escape. She couldn't escape.
And I think Vi knocked back like 4 people when she went on her target there. Everyone was slowed, and then there comes GP and Ari into the fight, and they can just clean up like it's nothing, you know. Really, really easy cleanup then.
Yeah, exactly. I think this game was a great example of how to take a lead and take it to an extent that you actually almost guaranteed win the game.
Yes.
They just snowballed. They played it very safe because the enemy has a Jinx. They played it very safe. They played to their
Mm.
own team's strengths, which is this pick core with the Vi and the Ari, and they just played it in the correct way.
100%. And this was what I was saying at the before the game started. It's really, really hard to play this game from the Jinx perspective once the enemy is so ahead, right?
Yep.
Because you just don't have the tools to peel and just do the damage you should do as an hyper carry in this later stage of the game. But the enemy has so much that's threatening you. And this is exactly what happened.
The only hope I would say that Extraordinary really had was since SlimOdds didn't have a hyper tank like an Ornn
Mhm.
that Extraordinary did have, they didn't have such hyper tank. So if you can get a good Cataclysm on someone and Jinx can try and pick someone early in a fight, I really think they have a really good chance of winning that fight.
Yes.
But it's really hard to execute when your enemy team is this mobile with the Ari, with the Vi.
Mhm.
It's just hard to play.
Yes, 100%. But besides, I think if you're behind 20k gold, there's no way you should ever have some chance of coming back. But we saw it, and it was actually not that. It seemed like 10k or 8k gold lead in this last fight because they managed to get the pick on the Galio with the Cataclysm, then Jinx Rocket. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way you really have a chance of winning a team fight. And we saw how close it can be, but it's just the goal deficit was just too big. It doesn't really matter then.
100%. It was just at the point where it doesn't matter.
Do you think that they will change and change up the bans?
Mm, so I'm not really sure because I would change up the bans because now I'm on the blue side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, or on the red side, right? So I could think maybe ban the Caitlyn if you're now on the red side. So don't give this prior pick over to the enemies. Could be something, if both AD carries are really, really good on this champion, to just ban it out if you're on the red side.
Mm-hmm.
Because it gives you so much prio in the lanes. But I think teams must have their own prio picks, right? So which champs they prefer. And I think, of course, if you're on the side of the Extraordinary, maybe you should make some adjustments. But I don't think that the game was completely unplayable from the
No.
get-go. You need to focus yourself up and play the game, slightly better, that you're not that far behind, and then just have great team fights.
Mm-hmm. But although, looking back on it, the thing with Extraordinary Gaming is the only. Why do you keep saying gaming? It's just Extraordinary. The thing with Extraordinary's team comp is the only real lane that has a winning matchup that they can play for is a top lane. But uh, I think we're going into a small break because teams actually having a break themselves. So yeah,
All right. Then see you after the pause.
see you after break.
You tell me that you love me. You touch me and I melt into your knees. You tell me that you love me. I don't wanna stop, never gonna stop. You tell me that you love me. You tell me that you love me. You touch me and I melt into your knees. You tell me that you love me. You tell me that you love me. I don't wanna stop, never gonna stop. You tell me, 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 tell me. Let's go.
I'm running away from this pain. I'm trying to find a new way where the sun's shining down on my face. I'm running away. You're in a toxic relationship. Time to be free. Your love, good for me. Please play me, I'm running away from this pain. I'm trying to find a new way where the sun's shining down on my face. I'm running away. You're in a toxic relationship. Time to be free.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright. Seems like we're back to game 2. There were a bit of internet problems, I heard, but seems like we are able to get a second game, which is really nice. Because it would be a really bummer that if one team had to surrender the second game just because of internet problems, right?
Yeah, they indeed made it back on time. Small internet issues for the top laner on SlimOdds side, but we're all back now. So, was it the top laner? It's the top laner.
I think so.
Like we said earlier, we don't really think much will change. At least I don't think much will change. Maybe they will pick the Caitlyn for themselves this time on
Mhm.
Extraordinary side because I have seen it in their OP.gg.
Mhm.
But then again, SlimOdds ADC has a lot of other very strong picks. Coincidentally, the Jinx, for example. So would be very funny to see it from the other side now, how that how that plays out. But I don't think we'll be seeing anything like that.
But it's interesting. It seems like they have a lot of prio on these 80 carries, right? To be the first, or in the first pick rotation. Group
The
1
thing
and
the thing with B1ing or like R1ing or R2ing in ADC is ADC doesn't really get hard countered by anything, and a lot of ADCs don't instantly lock you into a certain theme. There are a
exactly.
few ADCs that lock you into a theme, and those are like the Samira, the Naila, the Ziggs, like those kind of champions.
Mm.
So you don't often see them being first picked. But with the Jinx, the Caitlyn, the Varus, the Kog'Maw, like those kind of
Mm.
champions, you just lock them, and you can still build your team around something else.
100%, 100% true. That's why, actually, at the moment, I really like first picking Jinx, for example.
Yeah, Jinx
Because
B1 right now is a real big power pick.
exactly. But it seems like that if they both AD carries are more comfortable on playing like Caitlyn lanes, could be interesting to see if they pick it up as well on B1.
Yeah, Swain still being banned in this mid lane kind of makes me sad as well.
Lulu band as well. Seems like they don't change a lot of the bands, right?
That doesn't seem like it. They might change something
Also
up.
Diana.
Diana being banned away again makes a little sense. I don't really think they're gonna change anything because they don't really have to, especially on
Mm.
SlimOdds side,
Mhm.
unless Extraordinary suddenly bans something else and they
Well,
want to react to it in a different way. Like, the Auri is not what is gonna make or break SlimOdds team comp because they heavily play around this ADC like we discussed earlier.
So, and now they're thinking about banning Caitlyn or Jinx.
Yeah, they might want to deny this, like the B1 Kate, like taking it away. But the thing is, if you ban away the Caitlyn right now,
Enemy
what
will pick the
happens?
Jinx, right?
Yeah, enemy will B1 Jinx, and
Yeah, 100%.
so I'm very curious to see how they're gonna
Oh.
look at it. Okay, they just banned the Wukong. Makes a lot of sense.
Because you're
They're just
banning
gonna
your
trade
options.
Caitlyn Jinx right now. I assume at least.
100%. And let's see if they which ADC they prio higher, right? Because I don't think it's bad to B1 Jinx here, right? Even though B1
Yeah, but do
Kate
you
just
wanna?
won the game. So
Yeah,
okay.
I was gonna say, do you want to give the Caitlyn again? So they B1 Kate this themselves this time. I think I might see a R1 Jinx or R2 Jinx.
Mhm.
Personally, I'm suspecting something like ADC jungle being locked here,
Mhm.
or if they want
Well,
to be real, like risky, you could say they could like pick support here with a early Morgana pick or something to deny the Caitlyn Morgana or Caitlyn Lux combo. But I don't really expect something like that. Jinx being picked on R1 makes a lot of sense.
could be possible that Extraordinary prefers to play Chanter with the Caitlyn. So it could be like Nami now for Extraordinary, or do you pref if they just pick Engage with the
The
Caitlyn?
thing with Caitlyn is Caitlyn can work with a lot of things.
Mhm.
The only thing we have to keep in mind right now is Syndra has been picked up, so
Mhm.
we need something to keep this Caitlyn or keep anybody
Mhm.
safe. So what I'm personally expecting is something frontliney that can peel.
And
We
they're
got
going with the Jarvan again.
Yeah, we got something frontliney. Lissandra makes a lot of
Lissandra,
sense.
really
Lissandra hard to
interesting.
kill. It's a hard to kill champion for Syndra because Lissandra just holds her ulti
Mhm.
either to save herself from the Syndra or she has a really, really good kill button together with the Jarvan on the Syndra.
100%. I think like the team comp swaps a bit, right? With Lissandra and Jarvan, you're out of compared to the last game, you have like a really good pick comp now, right?
We're looking at right now. What I'm personally thinking is we're looking at two pick comps, but on the side of SlimOdds, we're looking at a more teamfight hybrid comp, like
Mhm.
hybrid between teamfight and pick, because we have this
Mhm.
Syndra who is gonna like easily one-shot someone for this Jinx to
Mhm.
get a reset. So then we
Yes.
transition from the pick by the Syndra to the teamfight from the Jinx.
Mhm.
Ball on the Extraordinary side, we're looking more at a full pick comp with the Jarvan, with the Lissandra, with the Caitlyn, who can just lock
Mhm.
somebody down and kill them.
Yes. And I
Zyra
think
ban making a
Maokai.
lot of sense. Oh, sorry.
Do you think Maokai is stronger, or do you think he has the possibility for being flexed around, maybe in support even, or no
It
on the top
could,
lane?
yeah, it could be very flexible. That's the scary thing about Maokai is in this situation, Maokai can go jungle, he can go support, and he can go top lane. So we don't really know what we want to ban away.
Seems like they just ban out Bannerix champion pool.
Yeah, banning
the-
away
the
these
game plan.
pokey ADCs as well. Gangplank ban, I kind of get, but on the other side, don't really expect it to just get it blinded again.
But in my opinion, you shouldn't pick Maokai here, but the Milio. Because I think Milio is really, really great against Lissandra. Because, Jinx gets ulted and he just presses his ult, and Lissandra loses a lot of her value, right? But now it gets banned, and they
Yeah, but now
decide
we
to
have
go
the
with
Renata.
Renata.
Like Renata
Yeah.
here is also very, very good because what Renata allows us to do is just blindly fire the I don't know the name of it. Hostile takeover. That's it.
Mhm.
Hostile takeover towards Caitlyn, and if Caitlyn doesn't get out of the way in time, she's just gonna do a really, really big chunk to one of her own teammates because Caitlyn is
It's
gonna
true.
do a lot of damage. Renekton blinds, very, very casual.
We have a lot of AoE ultimates, right? So with the Maokai ult, the Renata ult, it might be pretty easy to get this one target with the Syndra ult then, and the Jinx reset,
And
Because
we're not looking at
they
a
need to split.
hyper tank. Like they're picking bruisers. We don't have a
Exactly.
hyper tank in that sense. Seraphine
Seraphine
also
is
just getting blown up.
Yeah.
I
True. If anyone gets caught in the Maokai ult, in the Renata ult, or just a Syndra stun, probably, it's just dead, right? At
yeah,
some
but
point.
whoever Syndra hits with Scatter the Weak, if the game is even, right? Like
Yeah.
unless SlimOdds is really, really far down, as long as the game is even, Syndra Scatter the Weak into doesn't really matter who she fucking hit. Oh,
Mm.
who she hits because she just kills.
Yeah. Ooh, Jace.
Yay.
So they have a lot of
Yeah.
range, right? On SlimOdds side. You have a lot of
Um,
range with a
Yeah,
Jace,
what we're looking at is we're looking at this
Jinx.
play a bit safe until we can get a pick, and we can
Yeah.
either get a pick by Jace poke with a Jinx rocket finish, or we get a Scout of the Week into a one shot by Syndra, and then from there we transition into this front to back like team comp that just runs over the enemy.
I think it's if they play it right, SlimOdds has a beautiful team comp, in my opinion. Because you have a lot of range with Jace, Syndra, and Jinx. And if they need to hard engage on you with Renekton, Lissandra Jarvan and everything. But then you have like the perfect answers to that, right? With Maokai and Renata, ultimate. You
Yeah,
just have
exactly.
a really, really beautiful team comp. But of course, you need to hit your belts. And you need to be ready to disengage as soon as Lissandra, Renekton, probably as well with the Seraphine ult. They have a really nice wombo combo if SlimOdds make mistakes.
They have a good wombo combo in that sense, yes. But what like one of the items we could expect from Renata is it sounds a bit weird because she doesn't really build it that often. If she gets a McKill's blasting, for example, um, it's just very scary because it's really hard to then lock down one of the carries from SlimOdds side
Mhm.
because they can just cleanse the stun, cleanse the charm. Jinx is gonna likely take cleanse herself in this lane matchup even because she doesn't really need She doesn't necessarily need the barrier here. The cleanse, she can just go cleanse.
Yeah, I think she should 100%. I think she has really much value in the cleanse here.
A lot, like
Yeah.
definitely a lot.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's
If we're
just
looking
really,
at
really
pure
hard.
draft,
Yeah, sorry.
if we're looking at pure draft, who do you think has the bigger chance of winning this game?
So I need to go with SlimOdds here. I think it's really, really simple to execute and really, really strong against the champions Extraordinary picked here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. It's a much easier to execute team comp, and I also think that the team comp in general is very, very good into Extraordinary.
100%. I think it's just imagine a team fight, right? Lissandra gets some nice engage with Jarvan as well, but then it's just a Maokai ult who's rooting the others, and they just just die because there's no follow up, right? Or
Yeah.
anything like that. It's just so like it doesn't need a lot of skill, Just press R as soon as you get engaged, and it's of course you need to play the lanes right. If the Renekton is like 10-0 and just absolute monster and just dashes through your team, you have a problem, right? But as long as this game is even, I think SlimOdds has the edge here.
The thing that's also very scary to think about, right, is if SlimOdds gets their Syndra ahead, the only person on Extraordinary side who's gonna live a full Syndra combo is Lissandra. And she has to commit ult for that as well then.
Mm.
So that's
True.
the scary thing. Because a fat Syndra will one-shot your Renekton that hasn't finished his Starrick's Gate yet.
True. And as soon as that happens, the one person who's killed by Syndra and Jinx, did an auto attack or something, and she gets excited, she can clean the rest up, right? Because like the problem Syndra has sometimes, you can maybe kill one, but then you're kind of useless for a bit of time because you have all your cooldowns are cooldown and stuff. But Jinx can just easily take over the fight then. So they have, in my opinion, really working together, the two carries. And then you have as well the Jace. I mean, I'm not sure how big of a fan I am of Jace in general, when played by not like, on a pro level. But we will see how they manage to navigate around that.
I personally like the Jace pick here because Jace has this peel, Jace has this poke. Because when Renekton wants to go in with his slice and dice, Jace just goes hammer form, presses E, and Renekton can't really do much anymore.
That's true. That's true. Just in a lot of my games, it's just always it's hard. It's not one of the easiest champions to play, But if played on the right on the level, you should be able to play Jace if you pick him in a competitive game. Then you can do a lot of work here, 100%.
Jace is a champion that heavily relies on the player having hands, but one of the things that you can also keep in mind is in a competitive setting, which we are playing in right now, it's also much easier for Jace to actually play the game because he doesn't need to solo win a fight. He has a team that he can play around.
True.
He can stay back. He can poke. He has a good front line in this game because he has this Maokai. Like he can just do a lot more than he would have been able to do in a solo queue game.
100%. I'm really excited to see if they manage to land the poke and just force them to engage into them. Because I think like the one good thing I see on Extraordinary side is if the Seraphine is able to just heal up against these pokes, if just every other is hitting and not a lot of them are hitting, especially, Syndra misses her combo, maybe Jace misses his combo, and just a few outtakes from Jinx can just be healed up again from Seraphine, right? So you have this heal against the poke, but let's see if it's enough. Because, Seraphine needs a few items to be able to heal up against Jinx, Syndra, and Jace poke, right?
Yeah, that's also that's one of the things. But in this game, I'm curious to see what itemization Seraphine will be opting towards actually. Because the thing is, if she doesn't take any of her like AP build items, then her team will lack a lot of poke, right? Because they're all like heavily go in. Like the only thing maybe with Caitlyn, but if Caitlyn gets an auto attack range, she is also in engage range for the Syndra stun, the Maokai with flash roots. So
True.
on one hand, you want to go poke with Seraphine, but on the other hand, you want to go enchant her with the shield and healing, because otherwise your team is gonna go down way too fast. So I don't really think that it's a very easy game for Seraphine to itemize in.
For sure.
Furthermore, I don't really think that Seraphine has the best like support item options, because Dreammaker works for her, but it's not the best, because she cannot really decide on who the Dreammaker procs on. She heals so
True.
many people.
True.
Then the Zazak's Realm Spike is just. Then you have to go like Pokey.
Mhm.
Then the other option you can go is the Soulless Slay, but Soulless Slay this game really doesn't give you any benefits. Personally, I would go Celestial Opposition here to try and prevent a one-shot on myself. But I'm actually very curious to see what the Seraphine's thought process will be this game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It will be interesting to see. I mean, I think she wouldn't need to go AP just to have a good AP 80 split, right? Because okay, you have just one tank on the Maokai, and with Lissandra you have this bit of AP damage probably, but you're 100% right. If you're talking about poke, or if you're talking about champions with range, right? You just have Caitlyn and Seraphine. So if these champs are not building, or like one of them is not building any damage, we will lack a lot of damage from far away, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
True.
And we're heading into game right now. What a perfect timing.
And just that I think on the top left is for the Drake the timer, but I'm not 100% sure if that's the Drake timer or another timer. But
yeah, top left seems to be Drake, and then top right seems to be
it's a Drake. Yeah.
So we don't have timer for objective, but that's or for grubbies, but that's fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
I'm just a bit slow sometimes with the timers.
Yeah, same.
Standard 5-point coming out from both. Actually, Caitlyn doesn't really want to get cheesed, so she goes for the early ward.
Interesting.
But to be honest, on the other hand, what is Jinx? What is Jinx with Renata gonna cheese you? You're Caitlyn.
True. Not one of the most important words, probably. Do you think?
Like we mentioned earlier as well, we see the cleanse coming out from Jinx. Sorry to talk over you like that, by the way.
No. I think she has just too much value with it, right? You have to go cleanse here. I think there's like no other option.
Yeah. The only thing that's like surprising me a bit is the Syndra's choice of runes. I don't see it very often.
Electrocute. Interesting.
Because you have the range advantage against Lissandra, right? So I expected to see a first strike, but I can see why Electrocutes makes a lot of sense as well.
Yeah, because
it's buffed,
you
right?
really want to have that one shot, right?
Yeah, and it's buffed. It's been buffed recently.
Oh, nice.
Its damage right now is just really insane.
Okay. Crazy. Do you think any team has a prior on any objective? So do you think like SlimOdds is going to avoid the confrontation and just going on the other side, or do you think there will be a fight around Drake or around the Grubs?
What I expect is SlimOdds to go for Drakes, and Extraordinary Gaming, from what I've seen last game, they probably will try and contest it in some way. But you're playing with Caitlyn, you really, really, really want these early Grubs, because like I said earlier, Caitlyn with Grubs is just very, very annoying to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. I think they should probably swap Seraphine maybe top side, like not top side, but as soon as the Grubs spawn, and maybe take these Grubs, because then you have your Caitlyn with the Grubs, and she can just take the plates that much faster.
Yeah, I really think that they could sacrifice like maybe 1-2 Drakes early in this like pure trade-off for the Grubs, because I just think Grubs are really, really valuable for them.
Oh, who will see the first game?
The Dragon Drag not really finding a good connection on Syndra, but
that's a lot of damage still.
She does, like barely getting hit by the W, but
Renekton
going down low.
Is this the first blood? The first
Yeah,
blood.
that's the first blood for Jace.
Beautiful play from Bannerix. And that could really be a problem if that Renekton falls far behind and they have like this strong side, which shouldn't be that strong side just from the matchup, right?
It's what Jace is quite. Jay's Renekton matchup is just quite good for like both sides because the way they can play it. But the thing is, you pick Renekton, right? And what's the reason you pick Renekton most of the time? It's you pick it for a good early game, you pick it for just a beefy frontliner, but most importantly, you pick it for a easy point and click stun that you can follow up with something else. But we don't really have anything that can easily follow up with that. We don't have the Nidalee Spear or the Talia W, or like we don't have something like that.
I mean, Jarvan is full clearing to him, so probably the plan from them was, just chill out till jungle's topside, and then you can try to make like, oh, it's not enough damage there. But we see the power of Caitlyn, right? Oh, the
Yeah,
jungler's behind
Caitlin's
them.
early game damage, but Maokai flanking right here. Maokai not quite finding
Interesting
a
that.
route onto the Caitlyn yet.
Oh, beautiful
Ooh,
snipe!
That indeed was a good snipe. Maybe they can find another kill onto Renata, and they
Oh,
don't
he has
seem
heals.
to yet. Syndra rotating down right
Oh,
now. They might. Oh, actually, they find
What is
another
he doing?
kill.
It's an absolutely beautiful play. There's no way.
Oh, this is hurting.
They're playing it perfectly.
I mean,
Absolutely beautiful.
one of the other
And now
things,
we
right,
have
is you don't want to fight Caitlyn in the bush.
And now it's absolutely crazy what's just happened.
Okay, a twist of events. We saw something we didn't quite expect to see yet. One of the things that I wanted to say, right, is Caitlyn. You don't really fight Caitlyn in the bush because she's stacking
Yeah.
her passive twice as fast.
100%. Absolutely beautiful played.
Caitlyn having
from the
3
bot
kills early here. If what they could do is they're looking to go for Drake here. Actually, because Jarvan is running down with them, they might just do Krugs as well. Jungle path upwards again. Look for Krubs. That's what I'm expecting at least.
But it seems like both teams are not taking this like a really high pressure to fight these scrubs, or just to take them, right? Because in a lot of games I just see supports always roaming around, 6-minute mark, roaming topside to fight these scrubs. But it seems like both teams prefer fighting over the Drakes, right?
Yeah, it seems like it. But one of the things you can do as Extraordinary here is just you have this Caitlyn who's ahead right now, right? Caitlyn with Grubs is going to be really, really annoying. So Caitlyn can likely just manage in the bot lane if you set up a bounce. So just bounce here. Seraphine goes for the Grubs. Caitlyn chills back. She's ahead anyways. Get these Grubs. Like Grubs will help you snowball so hard.
But it seems like just Drake it is, right? But as long as the enemy is not taking them, right? And you are able to take both, you are really happy with that as well, right?
Oh, Glacial Prism coming out from Lissandra. Actually, good chain
And
CC on
beautiful chain CC.
Syndra. And they do find the kill. A lot of pressure being thrown into this mid lane right now, and they actually had to stop Drake for it.
I think that's the beautiful thing, right? You have like every champion has some kind of CC, right? So if you're able to layer it, I think you can just run around, and if you hit these things, right, and the enemy is not careful enough, you can always take these picks.
Renekton cannot play too aggressive right now, though. Like, yes, they can layer CC on anyone. What you just said. It also just really depends on the lane, because it's very hard to get a good CC on a Syndra, for example, who can just scatter the weak you away or that kind of stuff. But
So let's see. Seems like Jarvan's threatening bot dive.
it looks he's just doing the scuttle.
Okay,
One of the
just
things
taking
that we
the
can say about top lane right now is Renekton is finding himself in a quite vulnerable position since he doesn't have Dominus up right now. So Voidcraft's being taken. He doesn't know where Maokai is. He needs to back off.
But I think they should dive here, by the way. After Drake, if they see them on the top side, I think they're strong enough to dive them there.
And it happens.
Yeah, okay, let's just do it. But I mean, like, even Jarvan should be here, because Jinx would be so far away from having impact in this game if she's not able to farm here. You could just, zone her away from like 2-3 waves, take plates, because enemy jungle is topside, right?
Yes. The only scary part about that is that your topside jungle is up, so you would likely
Hmm.
transition into a vertical jungling perspective, and I don't know if they want to do that right now, since they have a Renekton. They want to play around this strong side, like this strong top laner, and they're not really making any use of it. Yes, your Caitlyn is ahead, but you still have this Renekton.
100%. Just like, out of my perspective, I think this would be really great to do. Just leave your Renekton on the island and just make sure that Jinx is not getting single CS, because you are so ahead on the bot lane that I think you are able to just, force Maokai to be bot lane, right? Because if Maokai is not coming to you, like, Jinx just, can't play the game, and you just have two carries, two players who are just completely useless.
Yeah, that's true as well. I think it's a really hard game to play out properly right now for both teams actually, because yes, they Extraordinary might have the lead, but making good use of the lead right now will be a hard time. Because you know what's also really scary? If your Caitlyn is fed and she gets hit by this Renata ult, she's gonna one-shot one of her own teammates.
True. And you know what's interesting is, like, Caitlyn didn't went for the same build as in the last game. Sush did.
Yeah, we're looking at a consistently auto-attacking Caitlyn instead of a burst.
Exactly. What do you think about it? When
I think
considering both team
personally-
comps?
Personally, I think it's worse. Because
Yes.
if Caitlyn just went Collector here, she
Mhm.
has much more early game damage, much more
Mhm.
pressure, and she
Mhm.
can actually go and look for these zones like you mentioned on the
Mhm.
Jinx more easily.
Mhm.
So that's why I don't quite think that
100%.
Yuntal would be the player.
100%. I'm 100% on your point there, because I think all you want to do really is not perma auto-attacking Maokai, right? Like, this is the only one where it's like good to not have the collector, right? But even then, I think, especially if he's building some AP and stuff, I think it's just collector is the way to go here, right? Just, rapid fire can collector Infinity Edge. It just deals so much damage from so far away.
Exactly, that's the play. Oh, good grasp of nature.
Beautiful.
Super Mega Death
Oh,
Rocket
beautiful Zeraphine
instantly.
ult, but I don't think it's enough.
No way, that's enough. Hostile
And now Jinx
takeover
excited.
hitting the Caitlyn there just completely locks her down.
Ooh, the damage isn't enough. And now TP from Lissandra behind them, but Syndra's TPing as well. Is she getting ult on the she can ult herself, but she
Doesn't
doesn't
really
need
need
ult.
her ult. Jinx was
Exactly.
really low HP as well. It's a it's a slaughter.
I think it's a beautiful reaction, right?
Yeah, really
mean,
good
you
reaction
managed to-
time from the Lissandra, but also from the Syndra as well. Just instantly trying to follow up. It just didn't quite work out properly, just because your team is already a bit like behind.
Exactly. But you had, you get the kill, the kill on the Caitlyn, but you still managed to get 2 kills out of it, right?
Yeah, but you get the kill on the Caitlyn, but you get it on Renata.
True. Okay. So it's not worth at all, probably.
That's the issue.
That's a big issue, actually. True. Because of Jinx, could somehow could really need that gold to get back into the game, right? But compared to the last game, you don't see the big CS lead on the Caitlyn, right? And I think that was something that was really, really important in the last game. You had like twice the CS, and now you're actually behind the CS.
Yeah, last game we saw a really good example of a Caitlyn taking her lead and zoning away the enemy a bit. And in this situation, yes, Caitlyn has a lead, but Jinx is just keeping up and farm really, really well.
Mm.
And last game we saw it, right? A Jinx that gets a kill in a team fight will be able to run over your team if you're not too far behind.
Mm.
So it's still very scary for Extraordinary this game.
100%. As you mentioned, right? We think as soon as it comes to these team fights, they're really scary. Even if they're behind a few thousand. Of course, if it's 20,000, maybe it will be hard. But as long as the game is somewhat even, I think they still have a really good chance.
Definitely.
And now even taking this trade, I think that's a bit illegal, no?
Not necessarily. They don't have any vision on it. I think they cleared it, but
But shouldn't you just always have prior bot lane? I'm not sure what happened bot lane that
They based. They took a base.
they based. Okay, fair. But maybe you should base there then, right? Like
Or
you have this really strong bot lane. I'm not sure why you would, it would be the second Drake, right? You could go for this win condition, grabbing its soul.
Yeah, I don't know what they're quite thinking right now. In general, I think that SlimOdds is just playing the macro very clean compared to Extraordinary in this situation. They have an even amount of dragons. They have 4 grubs. Extraordinary has 2 grubs. Yes, Extraordinary is a lead, but they're slowly closing down this lead with their objective control.
100%. And it's crazy, you have 8 to 2 kills, and you're somewhat actually even in this game, right? It's like 1k gold only.
Yeah. Jay's having to
Basically.
flash away from the Lissandros, otherwise he would have been imprisoned by ice. Don't quite want that. It's quite cold.
Clean flash.
He kind of had to.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, now first tower under siege.
Yeah, but
From
this
this
is what I
paper.
mentioned, right? Every time Caitlyn pushes in a wave, she will get 1 to 2 autos off. So every grub she has will just accelerate this poke, accelerate the time that she can go mid lane. Just giving
Yes.
you a lot of time.
Just how fast this wave dies, right? It's just like 1 Q and then just pop, 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 and the wave's just gone.
Yeah.
Now,
And it does look like we're seeing a Enchanter bolt from Seraphine. Oh, Grasp of Nature not quite reaching. Flying
was
Drag
there.
coming out, not on the turret. Oh,
beautiful ult,
Cataclysm!
beautiful ult.
Cataclysm
You
locking him
can't
in.
get out. Beautiful blade. That was beautiful blade.
Locked into the sandcastle.
Seems like
I
the
love
tree
that
can't
skin.
get out of that sandcastle.
Yeah, it's just he was just a teeny tiny bit too greedy there.
100%. But good decision to not ult the Jace, but to ult them out right there.
Yeah,
To make sure
definitely. Because
you get the kill.
I mean, if he ulted the Jace, I don't. Maybe the Mako would have like gotten into it as well, and then maybe could have gotten a double. But yeah,
think-
it's just a free kill. A free kill is a free kill.
Maybe would have been out of tower range, and then maybe they could turn that 2v2 actually around. But
He's
that way,
this chase damage, man. Jesus, and it's nerfed even. They nerfed him.
that's
So what?
crazy.
Like the thing they did to Jace is they nerfed his base damage and they hired his AD scaling. So
Because of the tank build, right?
yeah,
That
because of
was
the tank build.
around. Yeah.
It was quite a big problem because he was just unkillable and did still
Mm.
quite a lot of damage.
Let's
So
see.
they hired his ratios and lowered his base damage.
Mm.
But the thing is, they didn't hire the ratios quite enough, so he only really gains damage from like 3.5 items forward.
Mhm.
But still, if you look at his damage, Jay still does quite a lot.
And this the normal build, or is he going like a bit of tanky?
The traditional build
Yes.
involves Eclipse first item, but the
Yeah,
thing
right.
is with the Spear of Shojin build is you get this ability
Okay,
haste.
ulting.
Oh, flash coming out from both. Encore, but
everyone hitting on the Seraphine.
Caitlyn.
Everyone hitting this poor Seraphine.
Even her own teammates.
Yeah, even their own teammates.
So the thing with the Jace build, right, is we have a Spear of Shojin, which
Mm-hmm.
allows for greater poke because we have more ability haste, and it's more poke orientated than me go in.
And I think I'm really a big fan of this. I think the same with like the champion I play most at the moment is like Smolder, and a lot of people don't buy it, but I really like to take it as a second item because of the way that you're just so tanky and you deal so much damage because you rely on your abilities. And I think it's the same here with Jace, right? He has like so much HP and is still able to deal a lot of damage, right?
Yeah, and he stacks it up quite fast. And he has 6 basic abilities. He doesn't have 3, he has 6.
True. Oh, nice knock into the tower.
Ooh, yo, very clean, very clean. Actually, gives him a really, really big edge in this trade. He might be able to get a kill out of it. He's still chasing. He's still chasing.
He's still chasing. No, but he's out.
Doesn't quite reach him.
That was actually really close. But it was beautiful played, right?
Yeah, it was really, really
So
clean
Benarix-
looking him into the tower like that.
Benarix
And-
knows how to play it.
The only thing is like Renekton right now has Thunder Sky, which gives him a little bit more sustain in lane. But the way the Jace is playing is just he doesn't get to use his sustain because he just takes so many trades that don't work out for him.
This is first tower up, actually.
Yeah, it
Crazy.
is.
So Caitlyn didn't manage to get the first tower.
Nope, Caitlyn did not. I mean, Grubs did.
Grubs did.
Only having 2 Grubs. And the
Crazy.
Herald. Where did the Herald go? Oh, he still has it.
He still has it, yeah. But you see, Jinx looking really, really fine actually in this game. No?
Yeah,
So you have
Jinx is chilling.
Yes. And you have like a feed top laner now with the first tower gold. And the big fight coming up maybe.
Aggressive nature coming out. Encore doesn't quite
he
connect.
got the Drake.
Hostile takeover.
Oh,
hitting 2
beautiful ultimate. And now
pinballs.
everything's connecting.
Bam!
But in the backline, Sandra is getting.
Lissandra does
dead.
something, but Syndra's still alive. Maokai's still alive. I don't think they quite
They just have
kill
enough.
anybody here except when. If
Oh,
this
that's
Renata gets. Yeah, this Renata's just getting.
Killed.
Yeah, but she doesn't have an escape now. She used her hand already.
And Syndra has her combo up again, right? Yeah. Oh, the electrocute kill, right?
The auto attack into her electrocute finishes her off. This is a really, really good trade for SlimOdds side here.
But Jinx still waiting for her first kill. Unlucky.
Yeah, but now that Syndra has this like more kills and has more damage very soon, that also means that they will have a easier time setting this up for Jinx. Feats of Strength, Boots upgrade. Don't think they're quite as good as they used to be, in my opinion. Well, they didn't really change that much about the Feats of Strength. I think you might have some internet issues again, no? Let's see.
I'm
what
not sure
are we
if
seeing?
Putna is gone, but I will jump in till he's talking again.
Sounds
Um,
good.
I mean that was a quite good fight for SlimOdds, who were kinda trailing the whole game. Holy, that damage by Syndra.
Syndra hiding 2 items.
Yeah. But what we need to keep in mind is that the first game they completely stomped, right? Like they had a 20k gold lead, which usually you don't even see in wins. Like usually it's like 10k or something. It's shown a lot. Okay, nothing much happening here.
They actually took the gold lead for themselves this game again. Like that fight actually turned favor a bit, being from a gold deficit into a gold lead.
Yeah, that's true, but I want to highlight that Extraordinary is like holding the ground this game. They are on par with SlimOdds at least somewhat.
Yeah.
They were leading for a long time. They found a few really good picks. And that's what I want to see here. Even if it's a 2-0, I want to see that they come back. That they compete, right?
Yeah, but I also think that their team comp this game allows them much more to actually play the game. Like, last game they picked a very just a team comp that had a lot of struggles into the team comp from SlimOdds, and this game I think they did a much better job drafting as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Renekton, even though it's kind of losing versus Jace, is still really strong as a frontline. Especially when he gets his next item, which should be Sterax, I think.
That looked like it. But then again, is he gonna live the Syndra burst?
The mistake that I see over and over again from this Renekton, from Changed by Support, is that he always uses his W into the bone plating. Like if he chunks out the bone plating before, oftentimes he even uses his Q while bone plating is still up. If he just procs the bone plating with a Q or something, then waits a bit and then all ins, he actually has a chance to trade the Jace, but like this he doesn't. And I think he made this exact mistake the whole game, which is why the lane was so heavily Jace favored.
Yeah, definitely. I've also seen some other like small things with Renekton. I personally don't really play Renekton, but do you start E on him?
Level 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not do that. I would usually start Q just because it gives you sustain, it gives you if you stack your passive up, it gives you a lot of damage as well and healing. And the E gives you a gap close, but what after that? Like you don't have a lot of damage. Jace just runs you down. Um, so yeah, that's nothing I would do. Also, like those ults before Jace knocks you away, like he will just knock you away and run away every single time. So you need to wait for his knock to be out, and then you can maybe find an engage with ult.
Yeah. Ooh, stacking in the bush. Renata going quite low, actually dying here. Cataclysm going on to 3 people. Anchor hitting onto 2. It's looking quite. And now I'm kind of out of juice.
Yeah, we see the first kills coming down. Fenrir is in the backline. Command DDoS has a lot of damage, but he's kind of on his own. No one is there to protect him. Jinx gets excited. And this looks like a one team fight from SlimOdds, even though the engage of Extraordinary was actually quite good.
Yeah, the Cataclysm finding 3 people, the Anchor finding 2, quite a good engage. But I don't really know what went
And
wrong.
Levi Lisa
Oh.
pick with a beautiful engage by Lissandra. That was a pick that they needed. Fenrir is flashing in, but do they have the damage? Renekton goes down. Lissandra goes down. This is soul point for SlimOdds.
A soul point already. It's not that early in the game, but it's still being at soul point at this stage of the game will give them a lot more pressure. And Extraordinary has to deal with that pressure now. They cannot give away another dragon. They need to fight. But do they want it?
I mean, the game just gets worse, right? Like Jace will start to do more and more damage. Syndra and Jinx as well. And I feel like right now they still have the option to fight. Yes, the fight was really good, but also Command DDoS was left on his own from like the second half of the fight onwards. So I feel like those fights are still winnable for Extraordinary if they position themselves better, right? If they maybe get their AoE ults again like last time. But hold on, we got an ult, the Twisted Advance, rooting the Caitlyn. But there's so much damage on Stoosh. Stoosh might drop as well, but no. She gets excited and she can run away. Fenrir
Exciting
goes in. He goes in the whole time.
Finding a pick on the Seraphine very close, actually. Nope, not yet. Quite a long chase. Jinx being
Yeah,
able to get
that's
away
true.
there was just very special. Oh,
Yeah,
the
Levi
Sandra
Lisa
having to
pick.
come out.
The Seraphine ult for some reason also goes out. Maybe he wanted to protect Levi Lisa pick. Was not needed in the end, but he didn't have vision. Change by support in the meantime gets the top lane tower, which I think is really important here. He will probably fall though. Stoosh and Fenrir are on their way. The
Yeah,
slow
getting
hits
slowed
Jenna.
down.
Yeah, decoy is also there. The root comes out. Do they give the kill to Jinx? Yes, they do. And this Jinx at this point is really strong. She was kind of trading in kills the whole time. She didn't get them. But now she did. And yeah, Ginny just obliterates Farmer Rocks.
So the thing with the Renekton there is, yes, it's good to get that top turret, but also if you look at the state of the map, he was the only play that SlimOdds could make. So it was kind of predictable what was going to happen.
Yeah, that's true. And now they are starting the Nash, the Baron Nasher. Extraordinary knows it, but they are not really in a position to fight this. 2 members down. Caitlyn pushes the mid tower, which is a good cross-map play if she doesn't die here. Lissandra also not there, so the Nash just goes over to SlimOdds, who are now in a 4.5k gold lead. It doesn't look good for Extraordinary, right? SlimOdds is in a really comfortable position, but compared to the last game, this is still nothing.
Yeah, compared to last game, they're still in a comfortable position. Actually, Jay's getting picked off a bit here, but he can fight back pretty good because he has a good gold lead, but doesn't quite find someone.
Yeah, and the shutdown going over to
Charn
Renekton here.
or Renekton.
Renekton, not Dosh. Which he gladly takes up. Varrox maybe out of position. Can he get away? No, but he gets chunked low, which could be a problem in the siege. He needs to recall.
I think this is a very, very difficult game for Extraordinary right now, since they not only have a gold deficit, but the enemy also has Baron, and with this Baron they can actually look for maybe a Atakan play, but they're not really pushing out the side lanes right now.
Yeah, I personally would have wished for them to take like all tier 2 towers here. All of them are still up. Yes, SlimOdds is ahead, but you need to start using your chances if you really want
Yeah.
to snowball this game, because you can see that the gold lead is closing again. Of course, they scale better, so I wouldn't say they need to worry too much. But in the end, you want to destroy the enemy nexus. And yeah, they will not be able to do that if they don't take the turrets.
Yeah, they're just trying to siege this mid right now. 4 people mid. Jace is in the river coming mid as well. I think they just really, really want this mid lane turret, but I don't think they're really in a position to do it like this.
Yeah,
Sideways not being pushed out. It's my bad.
No. Extraordinary is looking for something. They are playing really aggressive here. And I would too if I was on their side, because they get outscaled, and right now is probably their best chance to fight. And with every second that passes, that chance gets worse. And they need to fight now because we are actually on a potential soul for SlimOdds.
Yeah, finding a good engagement to the Maoka. Maoka going very, very low, but not quite dead yet. Cataclysm finding a few people, but I don't think it really will help a lot because these big AoE abilities are just finding just the right people.
And it's a clean ace. And what looked really good at the beginning turned out to be a disaster. On the first side, Levi Lisapik was right next to the one at Maokai, but because he eat in, he didn't get the kill. And then kind of both the frontliners of Extraordinary dived into the backline of SlimOdds and the other way around. Problem is, the frontliners of Extraordinary didn't have any damage to really kill the targets. And that means we are at a 2-0 for SlimOdds here. They go to 3-3 in the standings, while Extraordinary drops to 2.4 in the standings.
Okay, what did you expect, like, from beforehand? Did you expect SlimOdds to win? Did you expect Extraordinary to win? Did you expect a draw, maybe? Because
I think a 2-0 for SlimOdds was the most likely example. Example is not the right word, right? The
situation.
most outcome situation, yeah. So I'm not that surprised. However, I think that Extraordinary, especially in game 2, had chances to come back. They had chances to actually win this game. And if you keep like, they are on 2-4 now, so they are barely scraping the playoff spots right now. SlimOdds is one of those teams they compete with for the playoff spots. SlimOdds is not a favorite. They will not play for the title. They will play for those 6 seed, 7 seed, 8 seed, the seeds that get them into playoffs. So this was a must-win game for Extraordinary. They will have more of those in the next 3 weeks. So if they can take the good things that they had in this second game and bring them into their 4th game, 5th game, 6th game, then maybe they can make playoffs. So I see hope for the Extraordinary guys. On the other side, SlimOdds, they were on 1-3. They were one of the bottom teams of the league. And they have put out a statement win that they are not willing to drop out early this time around.
Well, then we'll see how it goes for the rest of the season with these two teams. Will they make playoffs or not? That's the question right now. But yeah, I don't really know the teams, so you know them way better than I do. So yeah, that's a small thing.
Yeah, Büttner is back as I see.
Yeah.
So maybe
I'm so sorry.
yeah, don't worry about it. Maybe we can give our MVPs for this series, each of us. I will do it last, but no, maybe you can start. Who's your MVP for this series, from what you saw?
Okay, so from what I saw, which was sadly not the whole 2 games, But I think Fenrir did an unbelievable good job in the first game with the Vi, making sure he's involved in almost every action, making sure everyone gets ahead. And I think in the second game, making sure that the game doesn't snowball too hard out of the hands, right? That the Caitlyn is not going to 1v9 the game and stuff like that. So I think I would give it to him, even though both AD carries had like really, really good games on Caitlyn, especially in the early game, right? Like this beautiful 3 kills was really, really nice. But at the end, I would give it to the jungler here.
I'll have to agree with you on that one, because the thing is, what Fenrir also did game 1 is he just heavily played towards getting these kills on bot lane, making sure his bot lane is just getting ahead very efficiently. And in the second game, just like you said, he was holding onto the small like things they could still do, and he executed them properly, which gave them a good chance to get like close to gold leads. And then afterwards, his engages were very clean. So I would have to give the MVP to Fenrir as well.
Um, actually, Fenrir was also one of my 2 candidates, so I'm not gonna give it to him, just to have another take. I will give it to Stush, the ADC of SlimOdds. I think she had a really good performance today. In game 2, she was struggling a bit early, but I wouldn't exactly put that on her because like there were kills that should have gone to her, that the Renata took, that the Maokai took. Big kills with big shutdowns, and especially the farm in both games was really, really detrimental for her to stay in the game. Of course, on Caitlyn she got kills, but the farm was what catapulted her so much ahead of everyone else. And in game 2, she fell 4 kills down, but was actually only 1.2k gold down because she was farming well. And as an ADC, I I mean, Büttner, you know it as an ADC.
Mm.
It's so important to farm. Even if you die, or even if you are ahead, you need to farm a lot because that's what makes you so dangerous minute 20 and onward.
100%.
All right. Then I think we can wrap this up for today.
Thank you very much
to
for
the
jumping in,
people.
by the way, Linus.
Yeah, of course.
Great.
My
Thank you very
throat
much.
is killing me, but I always. Yeah, thanks to both of you for joining in for casting. And yeah, the next matches should come up in the next minutes or in half an hour or something. You will see the matchups for next week, and we will definitely have more streams coming up soon. And I wish everyone a great Sunday evening.
Bye bye.